received the ASBO Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting, which is every year since we started submitting our information to them. There are nearly 900 local school districts, public charter schools, and ISDs in the state of Michigan who are audited and are eligible, therefore, to qualify for the ASBO Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. The last few years of those nearly 900 districts, only 17 received the award each year. I was curious personally how many districts have had such a long track record of receiving the award, so I reached out to the ASBO to ask, and they confirmed that there are only 7 districts in the state of Michigan that have received this award for 26 years in a row. 7 out of nearly 900. So the board felt that this deserved a special recognition. So to all of the past and present staff of the business office, thank you. Your dedication and excellence to the financial well-being of the district has not gone unnoticed. We want to present you with something for your office that hopefully everybody who walks by can see it and be reminded of your hard work, and that your hard work is deeply appreciated by the board. I know some other people probably would like to have a few things to say, but if I can have Julie Davis, the Assistant Superintendent for Finance, come up and receive your plaque. A lot of staff from the business office that is here today. If anybody from the business office that is here could please stand so we can give you a thanks as well. All right, wonderful, thank you so much. Now we're on to our next recognitions. So we have 2 board members who it is their last board meeting today, Kristen Covell and Mary Vonk. I wanted to say a few things about each of them. I'm going to start with Kristen. Kristen came as a teacher, obviously came to the board with a deep understanding of schools that most board members don't immediately have and need to learn because we don't have that type of background. She understands the need of looking out for students and teachers, but also understands her role as a board member in looking out for all aspects of the district. She spent most of her time on the curriculum committee, which makes sense given her background. And the teacher in her came out in so many different ways that were helpful to the board. Her point of view as a teacher obviously was super valuable. And I know she loves to read, so being on the curriculum committee and getting to read lots and lots of books under 30-day reviews was probably not too bad of a job for her. I think it was hopefully a nice perk. She was always focused on ensuring that the kids have the support and a sense of belonging that we all know is necessary for kids to be able to learn in the classroom. She's been a champion of the Global Learners Initiative, PBIS, DEI, SEL, all of the ways that the district works to ensure kids get the support that they need and feel a sense of belonging in FHPS. She continues to love learning, even though she has not been in a classroom herself for a little while. Now she's now over at Davenport, where students are there, lucky to have her. But even as a board member, that love of learning has led her to taking several MASB classes throughout her years here, and she's especially interested lately in legislative action that would be a benefit for students and teachers, and I hope that she will continue to look at that avenue and be a voice and use her voice to advocate for education, because you don't have to be a board member to do that. Personally, one of the things that I will remember most about her is her willingness to have conversations with the people to reach an understanding. I remember one of the very first board meetings that I was at when I was newly on the board. There was some public comment that there was some sort of a misunderstanding, and I was so impressed. The second the board meeting was over, Kristen made a beeline to that person to go and have an actual person-to-person conversation to clear up the misunderstanding. She's never shied away from talking to people and making sure that everyone feels heard. So for me personally, thank you so much for your time on the board, and you will be very missed. But before I forget, I want to provide you, this is the certificate that shows which tree you picked and where it will be planted, as well as a present from the district. Well, thank you very much, everyone. It's really been my honor.
Well, we're not done.
Oh, there's more? Oh, well, thank you.
So you have to save your thank you for a minute. I can just say that I'm incredibly grateful that I've had the chance to work with you for the last 4 years, which it feels like such a short amount of time, but also a really long time at the same time. You have an intrinsic curiosity that I find incredibly inspiring. I think curious people are some of the best people because it just shows this constant love of learning, wanting to know things that maybe you didn't already know or that you've never been interested in before. And so for that, I think you are just an amazing person to work alongside. You ask thoughtful questions, generous encouragement. I feel like you will encourage anybody. You have so many great things to say, so many compliments. You always can find the good. And that those things have been a gift not just to our board but to the district as well. I've loved being on curriculum committee with you, and I appreciate how excited you get about curriculum and instruction alongside me. Not a lot of people in my life want to talk about curriculum and instruction as much as I do, so I'm so thankful that you are happy to do that as well. You are a champion for our kids and for our teachers, and you approach everything with such objectivism, and that is so refreshing and also so rare. And I really appreciate that about you. I will miss you sitting next to me and catching up with you at meetings, but I know where to find you, and I know you've always got a listening ear and sound advice to give. So we also have a little token of appreciation for you from the board.
I'll go next. I didn't write a speech, but I do want to say you're the reason I'm here, and I'm so happy that you called me that one day and told me that this would be a good place for me, and it really is. And I will miss working with you because you always put children first. Even with a teacher in your mind and a board member for the district, you always put children first, and I think that is one of the most important things we can do as board members. So I thank you for your service and everything you've done, and you know where to find me. We'll go on more.
Well, and as the old lady at the table, I can actually say, I remember when you joined us about 6.5 years ago, we had a vacancy, and you expressed adamant interest, and it was one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen, to be somebody so determined, to see somebody so determined, and you went at that election with a vengeance, and you secured your seat. And one of my favorite memories is we were kind of coming into a pandemic, we had some trying times, and I was sitting in a curriculum meeting, which we learned I wasn't supposed to do, but that's okay. And I was texting you saying your voice is beautiful, your advocacy for our children is beyond words, and I'm so proud to be sitting on the board with you. I think you got a similar text, but I've sat at this table and heard you say things that I'm kicking myself, saying I don't think I have the courage to say that, or the wherewithal to have come up with that position on this. So you've been a gift. We are so lucky to have you, and there are many, many thousands of kids that are fortunate that you helped them cross the finish line. So thank you.
It's working. Okay. I'm gonna miss sitting across from you. I know sometimes that we are in a different thinking thought process, but I learned a lot with us going back and forth, so I'm gonna miss that terribly. So whoever sits across there better bring their game on, right? Okay. So I wrote a little poem for you, so I'm just gonna read a little poem. It's a little creative, and the teacher, right? Says, Kristen Covell, Vice President Bright, at Forest Hills, you've been our guiding light. With notes that sparkle and wisdom to share, you served our school with love and care.
Excited curriculum updates. You made them shine. Your enthusiasm for students simply divine. An educator at heart with passion so true. In every discussion, we learn something new. I'll miss our talks around the table, embrace each different viewpoint, a cherished space. Let's stroll through the park to catch up and chat. Farewell for now, but imagine that. We'll see you again. It's not goodbye, just a short break under the same sky. So don't be a stranger, keep in touch. Your presence in our lives means so much.
Well, I wrote a 3-act musical, but I'm just kidding. I can't follow a poem. How am I supposed to? No, as has been said, I mean, the first thing that I would say is you have been an incredible advocate for kids and passion for everybody in this district, whether they work here or whether they live here or they go to school here. You've been a valuable source of education, certainly for me, and the Kristen Covell passion for doing what is best for kids, regardless of the popularity of the position or whatever. Your guiding light will, I think, live on in this board's decisions for a long time. So thank you for everything that you have contributed to this district and to me personally. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, I have no creativity to do any of that. So, and also a 6-month relationship. So, I would really like to recognize your family and the thanks for sharing you with us. With all the volunteering and all the hours and maybe being late to pick them up and all of the dedication that occurs. But from the time we first met, our individual meeting, you lived that out. You really talked a lot about, you know, what formed you as a person as you were growing up as a child and the things that we saw. You care for all students, and that is the voice that you brought to the table, whether it was a committee meeting or this full meeting. And you also saw multiple perspectives. You lived many of those perspectives, and so we definitely appreciate that. And one thing is very clear, that you're passionate about public education. So thank you for your service. I really appreciate working with you, and it's been my pleasure.
It's funny, Mary says, feels good, doesn't it? And I've got to say, I figured you were done after the very first one. One thing that I really like, since I have a moment to say things, is to just remind everyone to thank your teachers, because we don't actually get that a lot, and you'd think that we do, but we don't. And to hear several amazing people share nice things about me is not something I'm just used to hearing all at once. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to be a little blip before our Colossus over here. But I got to say, I really appreciate this. Was unexpected. And thank you. What I love the most is that you identify that I do it for kids. And that's everything I've done for a career and everything. And I it's nice to hear that people see that. So thank you.
The Colossus, I like that. All right, so Mary has been on the board for over 20 years now. And I think that beyond the board table, there might even be some people in the audience who might want to say a few words. So I will be brief and not speak about all of the many things that she has done for the district, because there are so many. Instead, I want to focus a little bit on what I have learned from Mary. I've learned how to be dedicated to learning. As long as you have been on the board, you would think that you know everything by now, but you approach everything with a help me learn attitude. I have heard that from Mary so many times. Help me learn, how can I, what are you talking about? Teach me this. You never assume you know everything that there is to know. You ask questions. You're the one that suggested that the board members start taking MASB classes, and nearly 2 decades into service, you took your first one, and you told all of us you find them valuable, even if it's only to affirm, yes, we are doing things right. And So she, it's not only are our students learners, but we are learners, and I think you have helped instill a culture of continued learning on the board. Another thing I've learned from you is, hopefully, that's something I'm working on, is how to make people feel valued and included. With everyone being super busy and having a million things to do on their plate, you've always taken the time to call and check in on people. When I first got on the board, you would call, it seemed like a lot. It was crazy times, but you would always call and check and see if I had any questions, see how things were going, just how is everything? What's going on? Did you understand how this worked, how that worked? What questions do you have? And I really appreciated that. And I think all of us that have been on the board for whether it's 2, 4, or 6 years, we all know that you're apt to pick up the phone call and just check in. Doesn't matter how long we've been on the board or how short of a period of time. You call, you check in, you pose a question, you pose a possibility. You just seem to have a very natural connection with a very wide range of people. And I know that many of us on the board are working very hard to try to emulate that as we move forward. You've been a volunteer in this district in so many different capacities. We are going to feel a great loss when you are not sitting here at this table helping to guide us to be a little bit better each day. But we know how to find you, and please don't change your phone number. And also, you get a certificate for the tree as well as a gift from the district.
All right, I just have a little something. I don't have a poem. That was really impressive. I feel a little emotional. Someone else go first. Just need to collect my.
I'll go. So, yeah, if anybody cries, I'm gonna cry, so
Okay.
please stop it. I just, Mary, you, like Kristen said, you truly care about people, and it's so evident. It's not a fake caring, it's you deeply care. And it showed whenever you would call to check in on us. You absolutely had coffee with me when I first started to make sure that I felt comfortable and I understood everything, and you still make those phone calls, and I know I still owe you a coffee. Don't let me forget it. But it's so much appreciated, and everything you've done for this district, and watching you in the Student Advisory Council meetings, just how much you actually care. Every time you get up and hug a kid when they're walking off the stage at graduation, because you knew them probably for 5 minutes, but you would still hug them, and it's just so appreciated. So thank you.
All right. So I think I can honestly and confidently say that there is not a person who lives in the Forest Hills District who loves our schools as much as you do. For over 20 years, you have volunteered hours and hours and hours of your life to work for the betterment of Forest Hills. Not only have you been the most tireless board member who has helped to hire multiple superintendents and mentor countless board members, including me, but you've directly poured into our kids and families through things like Project Charlie, all the committees you've been on, PTO, Student Advisory Council, different panels. You show up and participate at literally thousands, I would assume, over the 20 years. Special events, performances, presentations, forums, parent meetings, concerts where you cheered on our kids and teachers. Everyone who goes anywhere with you in the district knows to budget about an extra half an hour. So we know that all of our people want to talk to you, say hi, share a story, share a concern, give you a hug, invite you to something, and thank you for something. It is truly a testament to how much you mean to all of our schools and the amazing things that happen in them every day. From the very first time that you ever called me to ask me who I was and why I was running for the board, I knew that I would benefit from the wealth of knowledge that you had about our special district, and what you could teach someone like me, like anyone, was invaluable and endless. I count it as one of the greatest privileges of my life that our paths crossed, and I've had the honor to work alongside you and learn from these from you these past 4 years, and I know that you will always be there to keep on teaching me or anybody who wants to learn about Forest Hills. I think the Mary Vonk shaped hole that will be left on this board will be significant, but because you will continue to love this district, I know you'll be around for a long while, still working hard to sustain some of the dynamic programs you've started and the ones that are near and dear to your heart. You've always led by building others up, working alongside them, being honest even when it's hard, and also being an encourager even when that is hard. We are all better off for knowing you, and I'm so thankful I got to be just a small part of the legacy that you have created for the last 4 years. You, Mary Vonk, are the embodiment of all of our guiding principles every day and a really amazing friend. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And we have a little token for you too.
Well, you were on the stage when I received my diploma at Sunshine Church. Years, as were quite a few people in the back over there. And ever since, you have been a mentor and you've been a guide. And I think the people who will feel your absence the most are new board members for the next 2 and 4 and 10 and 20 years who will not have the privilege of your tutelage. And it's been critical to understand what the role of this group is and is not, and how important everyone is, all the way from throughout the organization to making this work and making it truly what it is. And your fingerprints are everywhere on individual programs and individual people. And system-wide things that will live for a long time in this district. So again, yes, we've all got your phone number, and we know you're not going to be far. We know we'll continue to see you in these buildings and supporting this district like you always have. So it's been a privilege to overlap even this much with you, and I could never thank you enough.
I'll go next. Wow, we've known each other a long time, and I'm gonna get emotional. So. It's been more than 20 years, Mary. Mary and I started off Orchard View and did the split, and we both became PTO presidents. I was at Orchard View and she was at Nat Forest. We had a lot of back and forth about new things of our new adventure of K through 4 that was happening in our school while we were going through changes. And I appreciate your insight, your wisdom, your reaching out by phone, and all the things that we've even on this journey together. I wanted to say, wow, 20 plus years as being a board member. You should ask for a name on a building. Okay. Anyway. We have the power. Anyway, I wrote a poem for you as well.
Oh.
So kind of glad I went after you. Right, Maggie? Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. So you didn't cry. You didn't cry. Okay. In Forest Hills, where memories twirl and dance, Mary Vonk was the friend who gave us a chance. For over 2 decades, her heart was our guide, a mentor extraordinaire with kindness amplified. She helmed Project Charlie like a captain at sea. Students sang her praises as grand as can be. With warm hugs and handshakes, she cheered students on. Through graduation and hurdles, her love was our song. Her questions sparked wisdom like fireworks in the night, helping us tackle troubles, bringing hope to the light. With optimism blooming like spring gardens flare, she sprinkled joy everywhere, a breath of fresh air. The ultimate cheerleader on our board of 8, a public servant beloved, truly first rate. Now she basks in Florida's sunny embrace, but her legacy dances on, leaving a trace. So here's to sweet Mary. Our hearts feel the ache. In our souls she will linger, guiding each step we take. With love and gratitude, we wave our farewell as she embarks on new adventures with stories to tell. But I just want to say thank you, Mary. for everything, for being the champion at this table, for giving, like, even when I've had to make a motion, give me a chance, seconding the motion, just to get my voice heard. Even though it may not have passed, that's okay. It was a delight to know that there's room at the table for everybody here, and I really appreciate it. I do have to say, I love the phrase, help me learn, and I think that's what is truly is the journey that we're all embarking on here, and you're gonna be sorely missed.
So Mary, I missed the memo on exactly what I was supposed to prepare here because I think maybe I wasn't told because I was getting my own thing. I had a little thought I was going to share regardless, but I thought this was interesting because it is so different from what anyone else has said this evening. And yeah, be ready. No, it's an unusual thing to bring up. So when I joined the school board, I had assumed that this would be an unpaid position. Like that was what I expected. And then I found out that there was a stipend for every meeting. And I was like, woohoo, for a day, until I learned that this is a long-standing tradition in this district that board members donate their stipend right back to the district, which I loved. Besides, I didn't think I was gonna get paid anyway. But I wanted to just take a moment to note that considering how long you've been on the board, the minimum number of board meetings that you have attended over the years was a donation to this district of $17,000 minimally, on top of all of the events that you attended that would also do the same. And I've just gotta say, I realize this is different from what anybody else would probably bring up and say, because we don't wanna touch on the dollar signs, right? But I mean, as has been mentioned, I was raised myself below the poverty line. So the thought of the time that you give, but also the cost of what that ultimately is impressive, really impressive. And this district has benefited in so many ways from your time, from, in this sense, I mean, the donations, from the activities that you've done. And I love how you said there's probably nobody who loves this district more. I would say, I don't know that there's anybody who could have touched this district the way that you have in these past 2 decades. That all of it together really, to me, makes you a shining star, because to me, servant leadership is perhaps one of the greatest values, and you absolutely embody that. And I just have a hug for you.
Well, Mary, and to your family, again, thanks for them sharing you with us. It's certainly been amazing. Again, 6 months. But what I know about you is that you are very consistent and that you're very authentic and very intense. So I learned that standing at Central Middle School during the interview process, and you said, so what do you think? 5 years? 10 years? Then you started talking about Dr. Washburn and Dan Beam years, and I started to sweat. But I'm here, so thank you for your support. But the 20 years of dedication that you've had, I know that everybody got the same from you, and that is what you have been. You've taught me a few things. You've taught me what FOMO means. You live it. And it makes me laugh because you say it and then it's real. You also taught me that 2 minutes really isn't 2 minutes. So that has definitely been good for me. But you care for people. You care for people in this district. And I think it was mentioned that you really value people. And I think that is something that is really true about who you are. And I feel very blessed that our paths have crossed. And both of you ladies are certainly champions of hope for our students and our staff. And so appreciate you very much.
And before we let Mary talk, we have a very large Mary fan club in the audience. And I know we've all had a chance to say something. Don't feel obligated, but if any of you would like to come up and say anything to Mary, please feel free to do so right now.
I already hugged you all, so you're all good, and you're so incredibly sweet for coming here. I see you. A couple quick things. One, I have a cute husband in the back that I giggled with 17,000, and you can all relate to this. When people ask what I do, he says I'm the most expensive volunteer on the planet. So there you go. 2, the intensity thing, Mr. Kirby, what I said to you was, what are you thinking? What are your long-term plans? And he said, 5 years. And I said, you mean 10 years? And he said, well, okay, so that, keep in mind that it's 10 years. But I've had so many people say, you know, how do you feel? And I cannot fathom this playing out in a better way, because look at what these people say and think and feel and listen to and understand. This is the group that's gonna take this district forward. These are the most amazing people that I have had the chance to work with. They have huge hearts, they are passionate, they are intelligent beyond words. We have a new leader, and obviously we have had phenomenal leaders in the past, so it was a little scary. And you seem to have jumped into the Cinderella slipper and you're ready to take us off in the little magic carriage, and we're excited that that legacy of guiding principles and caring for kids and doing what's best for kids is going to continue. So couldn't fathom this district being in better hands than with everybody here, and you're all amazing. And for all those really amazing, cute, sweet people that came to hang out with me, it has been so much fun the last 20 years. Best thing I could have done with my spare volunteer time. So you guys are amazing. Thank you.
We are going to take a small recess so people can say hello to Mary real quick. Like, I would say 2 minutes, but we know what 2 minutes means, so we'll take a merry 2 minutes recess. So
My husband's laughing at that too. There is no 2 minutes in my world.
yeah, we'll take a merry 2 minutes so she can say hello to everybody, and then anybody who would like to leave before we get to our business portion then may also do that.